We are evolutionary beings, meaning we're designed to grow and evolve. Just as Albert Einstein said, you can't change the problems of the world or the problems of yourself with the same level of thinking that created them. We need to expand our thinking. We need to grow and evolve and become more. The Bible says, do not conform to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you can see the will of God, the good of God, the laws of God, which we know are always good, as the universe is always for us and never against us. But to transform your mind. In Greek, transform means metamorphose. And metamorphosis is just change your thinking, change your life. Metamorphose means a whole change in nature. A whole different being or thing is evolved in this process of change. And it can either happen in natural or supernatural ways. We don't need to know the how. We need to simply be willing to have a bigger vision for our life. And if we're talking about true vision, you know where true vision comes from. It comes from our heart. So our true vision cannot just be good for ourselves. If it's a true vision that is activated by Spirit, it has to be something that is good for everyone. When you and I, in a true vision, it doesn't mean, oh, just something we dream about, you know, a house on the beach, a house, this or that, not just this or that. It's not necessarily a thing. It's calling us to be our better self in this process of evolution. It's calling us to be something more. And as you were saying this morning so beautifully, Marianne, to face those fears and move through them. Michelangelo said, you know, our biggest danger is not that we set our vision too high and we miss it. It's that we set it too low and we achieve it. Why do we do that? Why do we set a vision for ourselves that's too low for these magnificent, amazing beings we are? We are designed perfectly for what we're here to come and do and learn and grow into. We're designed perfectly. We have everything we need right now. Then why do we set this aim down here when we're meant to evolve in this journey of enlightenment? Why do we do that? Why do you do that? No, why do we do that? We do it because Ernest Holmes says it's a cosmic trap. From the collective race-conscious thinking, the collective consciousness of over the years, many conventional religions and teachings teach us that to be good, boys and girls, we need to suffer. That poverty is a virtue. That all the things that make us small and humble and not magnificent and glorious and enlightened beings, those are the things to strive for. And we know better, but you know what? The truth is simple, but it's hard to apply when you've got all this cosmic soup that we're marinating in of old beliefs and consciousness, and that's what keeps us down. And I believe when I talked about all this stuff we see in this world, about this intolerance, this self-righteousness, this I know best, no, we know best, it's all for us to realize there's so much more being called from us. I was so pleased. Yesterday I got a text from my daughter that said, this is a very interesting link. It's about different types of perception and perspective on issues we might not think of. And wow, I turned it on and it was so interesting to see people talking about, not in a mean or angry way, but where their perspective is coming from in life, and to hear different ways of thinking and being and knowing that it's all right where it is. But when we can come together in dialogue and consciousness, when we can come together in cooperation, we could find solutions for things. The solutions are there. Every problem holds its solution. They're already there. We have to up-level our thinking and make our aim a little bit higher, one step at a time. I've mentioned before that a miracle is just the next best version of something. And so we need to be miracle makers for ourselves and the people and things around us. We need to be doing better. The truth will set us free. We hear that all the time. But whose truth is it? What truth are you holding on to? We have to make sure the truth that we hold on to is the truth, the universal truths of the ages. The truths that mystics from all of the teachings, all the cultures, all the religions know about. The truths that keep us focused on a bigger goal, something more. Where in your life right now you need to aim a little bit higher? Just a little bit at a time. I want you to think about that. Remember, I asked you to act as if? Well, you're not done with that yet. I want you to act as if it's already happened. What would happen if you approached that situation instead of you're pointing your finger there? What's in this for me? Why did those characters show up in my life right now? Why did that situation show up right now? What is it calling me to step into so I can be a greater version of myself? Are you getting what I mean? That we need to think about something more. It's here for all of us. It's not just for some of us, but for all of us all the time, that we can be we can hold a vision and know it's possible for ourselves and for one another. How beautiful that is. I want to share a reading from Ernest Holmes that I think is so beautiful for ourselves. Because sometimes when we aim so low, it's because we don't feel too good about ourselves. You know, this thought of separation that our ego, the ego that looks through the human eyes, it was Helen Keller who said, even more difficult than being blind is someone who has sight but no vision. And that's a calling to us. It's a calling to us. But sometimes we aim so low because this either-or thinking comes from either feeling better than or less than. And sometimes we just don't feel good enough. We don't feel good enough to stretch and expand to something more. And I love this passage from the Science of Mind textbook. It says, we are healed, so whatever insecurities or superiorities we might have, whatever we have that's disconnecting us from the oneness and the truth, when we are healed, we can come to Spirit for cleansing. We can come to Spirit to be cleansed of all those doubts we have about ourselves, about others, about our world, about different things, situations. We can come to Spirit for cleansing that takes away the mistakes of the world, the mistakes of us, and converts them into great lessons, great opportunities. We don't have to feel guilty or wrong or bad. We can turn any mistake into a lesson. We can turn it into a lesson by communing in meditation and prayer and communing with Spirit and nature, pointing the way to truth, beauty, to life, health, happiness, and success. I told you that the universe has always got our back. It's for our good. When we set a vision, I can just feel the little angels so excited. They can't wait for us to be more than we were. They're so excited. The doors fling open because they're, come on. It's like in the Talmud when it says, over every blade of grass, there's a little angel whispering, grow, grow. And when you decide to do, there's a party that happens and the doors fling open. There's your vision. But we've got to be there. If we're not there, who's going to walk through the door? The door may fling open, but we've got to be willing. A vision without action is just a good dream. And action without vision is just passing the time. But when we get our vision that comes from that heart-activating thought about our life, when we get that vision, and it doesn't have to be this huge, magnificent thing that just so big we can't understand it. Like I said, it can be kinder and gentle and more understanding and peaceful, more loving, more cooperative, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It can be something in this physical realm, absolutely. But to go through that door, to get to the step to our next greatest yet to be, we've got to show up. And I've mentioned this process before because it always sticks with me. You get those little blurbs of wisdom and you keep them in your pocket because, if you can't do it by yourself, boy, you can pull this out and it's going to get you there. And it's by Angeles Arian again. I've mentioned this. She's a cross-cultural anthropologist, teacher, and author. And she really wants this cooperation to go on in the world today. And she says we've got to show up. We talk about taking right action. We talk about clear communication. If we don't show up and be present in the moment, how can we possibly make the right action or have clear communication? We got to show up. And then we have to pay attention. And paying attention means there's so much more than just our words. We have to look for what the heart means in ourselves and other people. What's the big meaning here in our heart? Because when we look into the heart of things, to find the meaning, the underlying meaning of everything is love. It's either a cry for love or an act of love. And if we look deep enough, we're going to find it. We got to pay attention. And of course, we can't make anything, especially ourselves, any better if we don't tell the truth, if we don't come from that place of integrity and authenticity, if we don't come from that place. No blame, no shame, no guilt. It's not about making somebody wrong. It's just coming from that place within you of integrity and honesty. And then don't be attached to the outcome. If we don't have a vision, we're going to stay stuck in what we know. And sometimes what we know is really, 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 really boring. So why in the world would we want to be attached to the outcome that comes from here? We want to be open to more wisdom and objectivity and possibility, right? We want to be open to something more. So show up, pay attention, tell the truth, and don't be attached to the outcome. Those are the things that we can do that will bring us to a greater, higher place in the world today, because we need to push that elevator button and elevate ourselves up to a higher vibration in the world. Do you want to do that? Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you, let's do a little meditation right now. As we know that each and every person here is designed for greatness, to be the greatest version of themselves. We're all on this unique, original path of awakening, of enlightenment, of showing up in the world as our greatest and best self at this time. We have everything we need right now. So I simply invite us to feel right now in this moment that we are immersed in God's love. That we are immersed in those sparklies of God's love, the excitement, the joy, the passion, the goodness, the possibility that always and forever, eternally surrounds us and fills us. And as we breathe, we simply make the space right now to be open, to be available, to vibrate at a higher level, to be cleansed of any mistakes or issues or problems we've held on to, where we've pointed the finger and we just simply point our finger back to ourselves and say what a beautiful, magnificent being we are. That we are all in process. And that as we marinate ourselves in this beautiful vibrancy, sparklies of God's love, all of the things we've held on to as mistakes or problems or situations that we hold on to simply get transformed into understanding and enlightenment. I'm simply going to invite all of us to take just a moment, and what other color it is that ignites you to know the highest truth. I'm just going to invite you to breathe it in now, whether it's turquoise or gold or white or magenta or pink. Just breathe it in and fill yourself with life, because our life is meant to be lived. We are meant to be awake and alive. How good it is right now. And just breathe that in. So on that note, I just invite you to open your eyes if you had them closed when you're ready. And I have an invitation for you for your vision today. Beautiful Griselda, one of our members and a practitioner student. Griselda, would you just stand for a moment, please? Griselda is going on a spiritual pilgrimage in the month of September, and she's walking the Camino. And she's doing that by herself. There's a friend that might meet her there, but she's doing this journey as a total pilgrimage for her own awakening and her good. And they said you could take rocks there that people have written on and plant them in these sacred spots, but she decided that might be a bit too heavy. So she has ribbons that we can all plant our visions on. And she's happy to take those and put them in a sacred space for us. What a practitioner consciousness you already have, my dear, and what a sacred journey. Can we just rub our hands together and wish this wonderful woman a safe and sacred and joyous and expanding and loving journey, knowing that she takes a bit of us with her now as we see her vision manifesting in this moment. And we know that you take us with you as your spiritual community and friends, and know how loved you are. And I see you surrounded and guided by angels and love every step of your way. And so it is. So my final word right now is I'm going to ask you to be in that elevator of enlightenment and awakening. Act as if you're already there, already awakened, already enlightened. You're up where you belong. And all of the love and support from our community, we are all there with you. Together, we can create a vision that changes the world. And the vision is love. And so it is. God bless you all.